Hello, everyone. The story of the Tuapse oil terminal continues as Ukrainian military continues hitting it. So you may ask, why Tuapse? Remember we talked about the Shadow Fleet, right? Well, Shadow Fleet has to originate somewhere. It has to pick up that oil from somewhere. Yes, sure, there are pipelines, right, that lead to other countries where they can siphon that off. However, also, the easier way is to go across the Mediterranean into the Black Sea, sail over there through the international waters, and go to Russia's Black Sea coast, Russia's section of the Black Sea coast, fuel up, literally, and sail out. And then pretend that you're coming from somewhere else. So, thus, Tuapse is a port. It is on the Black Sea coast, and it happens to have a major oil terminal. That is why. Now, is Ukraine targeting Russia's oil facility elsewhere? Absolutely. Like the one in Perm, for example, just recently. Because, as with everything else, the best Russian oil that, sustains this war is the one that never gets to its destination. And so shelling oil terminals, oil mining facilities, oil processing facilities deep in Russia is a very good strategic move. But also, it's the oil that never gets anywhere. Once it arrived at the terminal and never goes beyond that point, it can't be sold. It can't generate revenue. In addition, yes, this is a huge environmental issue. And all of this right now is being addressed strictly by the local governments. So far, Putin's administration hasn't done anything to come help out. So far, it says Russian authorities. No. It's the local Tuapse authorities had cleared more than 13,300 cubic meters of fuel oil and contaminated soil along the coast. But that's not going to get any better. And in addition, it's not just the contamination. It's not just the damage to the soil and water. It's also the damage to people. Can you imagine what their air is like right now? Now, the local groups tried to warn the citizens to not go out without proper respiratory devices, proper masks. Not the little disposable hospital masks, but the real ones with filters. And people either can't get them or they're just ignoring this. And another thing is, and this is something that I saw from a Russian source, then confirmed by a Ukrainian source, so for once they agreed. So any independent journalists or any media representatives who are filming on the ground and are commenting that this is bad are getting arrested. Instead, there is now a series of deep fakes being spread saying that there is no disaster, that Ukrainians just purposely set on fire some smoke bombs that look really scary, but there is no problem, and that the air is perfectly breathable. What's interesting about this, even as these deep fakes are being released, people who are in the area are saying, fuck no! Come and try breathing here. So there's definitely an outrage about this. I just think that it's still not directed in the right direction. It's not directed at the right parties. I'm not sure if it was satire. I should ask my source about this. But somebody basically expressed the sentiment, which I'm sure a lot of Russian people are feeling. And that is, can't Putin just meet with Zelensky and agree to go to the way the way they were before, where we were bombing them and they were not bombing us? Yeah, that. And why is this going on? Bam, there is your answer. So the death toll, the wounded toll has gone up in the western city of Ternopil. 388 drones were downed or neutralized. 388 drones in one day. This is why, when Ukrainian military looks at what's going on in the Middle East and you guys wasting Patriot missiles on drones, they're like, suckers. This is one day in Ukraine. And yeah, I'm sure Poland is not feeling too happy about this, because this is not that far from the Polish border. This is only about 100 miles, a couple of hours drive from the Polish border. So there were also attacks in central Ukraine over Cherkasy region, and figures. Russian targets, not airfields, not army barracks, not military manufacturing, no. A nursery, a school, 7 private houses, and a power line. That's Russia for you. Yeah, that will really lead to ending the war. Targeting another country's schools and nurseries. So that is still going on. I know that the attacks by Ukraine on Russia's oil industry have been dominating the news, but I want people to understand that this is why it's happening. This is why, because I don't want people saying, oh, Ukraine bastards causing damage to Russia, blah, blah, blah. No, Russia started it, and Russia continues it. Russian troops clear out of Ukraine. Russian troops stop attacking Ukrainian civilians, committing atrocities on Ukrainian territory, and this all stops. All that needs to happen, we don't even need to have negotiations. All that needs to happen is the Russian government calls off the troops and says, you know what, this was a dumb idea, we shouldn't have gotten in there. Kind of like they did with Afghanistan. There's been a big announcement from Ukrainian government by Zelensky talking about the reforms in the army, talking about vacations and discharges for the longest serving soldiers, talking about manpower shortages, talking about the land-going drones, which we have addressed, and talking about providing support and bonuses for the soldiers and their families. They're hoping to start the reforms as early as in June. And yes, I agree with him. A Ukrainian infantryman who holds the front line must feel that our state truly respects them. We have 2 of those in the Donetsk region, 1 medic, 1 soldier. So yeah, this definitely affects our family. And we have yet another scandal, yet another story pertaining to Russia recruiting people from other countries under false pretenses. There is now an investigation by public prosecutors in Peru. Peru! Folks, look at the fucking map. Peru is a long ways away from Russia, but they got even there. So they're investigating alleged trafficking network offering fake jobs in Russia to Peruvians before forcing them to fight in Ukraine. So there were individuals who were from the military personnel, from the police forces, who were recruited with these deceptive offers of well-paid jobs, and then they were taken to Russia and shipped right off to the combat operations. Didn't I tell you? Haven't I been telling you for 4 years now that this is not just about Ukraine? Yeah. More to come.